I'm just gonna ask this. Dragon Ball Evolution. Why? I watched it and I cannot understand it.
Okay. Yeah, so that's another funny story. I remember after Angel came down, I couldn't walk anymore because I did too many of my own stunts. And I remember crawling to the chiropractor literally across Main Street in Venice Beach to get to my chiropractor, hoping the SUVs could see me over there. And I remember crawling across going, I need to be in a cop show. I need to be in a cop show, man. All you gotta do is drink the damn coffee, get out of the car, talk to somebody, get back in the car, and go home. You know? So there I am, and I'm doing a cop show. I'm doing, what's the name of that thing? It was a Jerry Bruckheimer cop show.
Without Trace.
Without Trace. And they were paying me like nothing. And the thing in Hollywood, the better the project, the less they'll pay you because they know you'll jump for it anyway. So that was a great project. I guess they knew I wanted to be a cop. So they were paying me just dirt, right? And I was so low that I was offended. And my manager was just like, James, do the contract. If something comes along that pays better, take that too. So I was eating my donuts, sipping my coffee, in my car, happy as a lark, and then Dragon Ball came along. And it was a 3-picture deal, and it was really great money. Dragon Ball Z helped me raise my son.
It's good series.
Yeah, I mean, I saw, he wanted to see it. He was 7 years old. It said 13 plus on the age range, and I was just like, yeah, but I got to see it with you, and we'll talk about it. The reason I love Dragon Ball Z so much is because it is instructive about what I think a man is, which is goofy and humble and peaceful, unless you attack his family, in which case they'll kill you. The central figure, you know, Goku is just, you know, if you see him on his good day, you know, he's just like looking at butterflies and playing with with Gohan, his son, or whatever. He's not trying to prove anything. He doesn't have to, you know. But Vegeta, the villain, is the overgrown boy. And he's always going, I'm tough, man. And I think it's hilarious and very true. Overgrown boys tend to create chaos so they can prove themselves against the chaos that they create. Whereas a man enforces peace, only if necessary. So I just thought that it was one of the wisest cartoons that I'd ever seen. And so when that contract came along, first of all, and also it was the only thing my son cared about that I was in. He didn't care about Buffy, he didn't care about Smallville, I'm sorry, he didn't care about any of that. But when he found out that I was going to be Piccolo, he went crazy. And then the final piece for me was Stephen Chow, who is a Chinese producer who did Shaolin Soccer, and what was the other piece? Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah, Kung Fu Hustle. Fabulous, fabulous, goofy, violent, squeezing all of the goodness out of your budget. You know, those are very low budget films, but they're really entertaining. And they said that Steven was going to, you know, was going to produce it, and they were going to give him, I think, $120 million to do so. And I got out to the desert, and no one had ever heard of Steven. He was just on paper, and it was a $30 million picture, and I didn't get a stuntman. I was like, oh, where's the donuts? But even that said, you know, we threw ourselves into it as much as we could. Also, that movie was not Dragon Ball Z. That was our adaptation of Dragon Ball. And in the source material for Dragon Ball, Goku's 10 years old and he's fighting midgets all year. So if you compare it to Dragon Ball, it kind of kicks it. If you compare it to Dragon Ball Z, it's not Dragon Ball Z. So I think in hindsight, the producers might have just started off with Goku as a blonde hair flying guy destroying a mountain. You know, that should have been the first shot. We should have just done Dragon Ball Z. But, you know, live and learn.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a Buffy question, because apparently my 13-year-old self is here with me today. She wants to know, what was the most enjoyable episode to make, and is it your favorite episode overall, or is that something different?
No. The most enjoyable to make was the musical. A lot of people have heard this story before, so you know. We had no faith in Joss Whedon at all to write a musical. We knew that he could write good dialogue, good scripts, do good horror stuff, tell good jokes. But instead of dropping off the script that week, he dropped off a cassette tape of him and his wife singing the songs of the musical. And I like to say there's nothing worse than watching bad Shakespeare. He's the best author, but in the mouth of a bad actor, it is just horrendously painful to go through. Same thing with music. It doesn't matter how good the song is. If the person singing it is bad, it's horrible. And Josh can write really well, but he cannot sing worth a damn. And his wife is a wonderful person, but she doesn't help. And he is not that, or wasn't at that time, not very good at the piano at all. So I'm not like Prince or anything, but I got a band, man. Like, and I take the cassette out and I come out into the sunshine out of my trailer, and the whole rest of the cast has just done the same thing as me, and they got the same kind of look on their face, like, what, am I dreaming? What is going on? So we really thought, Josh was like, may I say, high-strung. So half the time he'd say, hey Josh, how you doing? He goes, I have no idea, I have no idea. I really thought that Josh had gone insane. He either buckled under the pressure, or the success of the show was going to his head, or something was off with Josh, man. And that he was going to flush our careers down the toilet. Seriously. Everybody thought that. And we all tried to talk him out of it. I have to say, Tony Head and I were a little more relaxed about it because we were already performing publicly. But the rest of the cast, I mean, really to their credit, they were not professional singers. They were being asked to do something very publicly that they were not trained for. And I remember one person saying, why don't you just have me juggle chainsaws in front of a live audience? But at some point, everybody realized they weren't going to get out of it, and they just doubled down and really studied with vocal coaches and dance coaches and did their best. And we went from a whiny bunch of scared little actors to realizing that it was going to work. Josh cut the Xander dance and showed it to everybody, and we realized this wasn't going to suck, you know, and all of our work was going to pay off. And so I think I was never more proud of us than at that moment, when we really were forced over a cliff, and it's one of those points where you're either going to fly or you're going to splat. So start flapping. So just, you know, to watch it, I think it's delicious, but what I saw behind the scenes made me really proud to be part of the company. Yeah.
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you.
I just have a question. In the early days of Buffy, was there ever an aha moment? This is huge for you? You're part of something big?
That's a really good question, man. I was a Star Trek fan, right? I am. You know, I was the first convention, I think, in history, like in '75 in Oakland, California, right? And I had my pointed ears, man. I had my blue tunic. I had my eyebrows erased. I had a big blonde afro and a phaser I made myself. And I was beautiful. First time in my life, I was beautiful, right? And so, when I was growing up, you know, you had projects that were loved, but they were not the way it is now. They weren't huge. They were loved very much by a smaller audience. And when I got on Buffy, it was very much that. There was a lot of passion for it, but it wasn't a #1 show whatsoever. And I was very comfortable with that. You know, coming from theater, I recognized that the writing was really tight, really, really good. But it was a very slow dawning process realizing that it was touching the nerve of the world. I think we were sitting at a banquet table. It was Joss and Marty and some actors, and we were up for some award. It might have been an Emmy, or I forget what it was. We were up against West Wing, and I remember they said, and the winner is envelope, and all of our table in one voice went, West Wing! And it was West Wing. But at that moment, I think I realized, wow, this is, you know, if Joss would have called this anything other than Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we might have won that envelope. At which point we started to take ourselves all seriously, and you know, wasn't as quite as delicious, but yeah, it was a very slow, kind of dawning thing. And I think maybe when I first went to Paris, that was insane. That was actually terrifying. They had guys, you know, like on horseback and everything, and I couldn't. All the streets were full of people, and they just came right past the horses, knocked the policemen off the horses, and just stormed me. And I remember going into a storefront. I don't even know what the shop was. I don't even think anyone knew, but they were all up against the glass, and these big glass windows were buckling like that. And I just remember thinking, these are going to shatter, people are going to get hurt, and I said, I'm going to be one of them. Yeah, that I started to realize on that one too. Yeah.
Cool, thanks so much.
Right on.
I'm just wondering what your most embarrassing moment on the set of Angel was. Verbally, something to make it maybe.
No, I didn't have to get naked on Angel, man. Yeah.
Wrapping wire.
No, you got the receptionist on the table. When you weren't a ghost anymore, you did the receptionist. Harmony.
Oh, I did Harmony. No, that was awesome. No, I don't think I had to go full Monty for that. The stuff on Buffy, that was a humiliating stuff, because I only got a sock as a costume piece. I think they arranged the shots on Angel so I could have, you know, jeans or something. No? I guess I was inured by that time. No, the humiliating stuff was on Buffy. Because Sarah, I don't think she realized how uncomfortable I was with that stuff. She was just having fun, because she agreed that she would do all these extreme love scenes, but that she wouldn't show 1 inch of skin. That was the deal, I think, because she would come to set and she'd be like, do you like my muffler? Do you like my hat? I got gloves on this time. So yeah, she was well protected.
Hi.
Hey, man.
I have a bit of a cliche question for you, but you played some really awesome, borderline and just epically badass villains.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you could actually be any supervillain and superhero, what would they be and why?
I would be Batman. He's a jerk. He's a dark dude. He's not someone that I'd want to have dinner with. And I always thought that he was just like one step away from being evil. And I thought that's what was so great about the second Dark Knight film, when the Joker said, look, you created me. This is what vigilantism does when you go outside the law trying to fix your own problems like this. I come along, you idiot. You know, and I thought that that was really cogent and very brave and very true. You know, we really don't want vigilantes in the world. So yeah, you can be both. Yeah.